My name is Brandon Hopkins, and the topic of this video is how to pass a math test. If this is the night before the test, you want to make sure you get some sleep and something good to eat for breakfast in the morning. When you're looking over this tonight, look over both things you understand and things you don't understand. Bring quality items like a good pencil, a pencil sharpener, and a good eraser. And it sounds like a small thing, but when you go in and you're working the test, you don't want to be frustrated by something like your pencil breaking and not working or having a bad eraser. Also bring a good calculator. The day of the test, scan the entire test, look front and back, look for all the problems, look at the ones you know how to do, the ones you don't know how to do before you start the test. Then you can go back and start it from the beginning, but you want to make sure you know what's on the test, you know your time limits, so you can get the most amount of points possible. You want to read the directions carefully. Answer each and every question. Never leave a question blank. At the end, check your answers. You want to go back and check each answer you wrote. And what you're doing is you're checking for logical errors. Something like you just wrote something down wrong. Like perhaps you know that 2 to the third power is 8. 2 times 2 times 2. Sometimes people get in a rush and they write down something like 6. And they realize how to do 2 to the third power, but they were just rushing and they didn't go back and check it on the test, and they threw off everything and they missed the whole question. So you go back and you check for logical mistakes, and that gets you a point or two. And that's how our minds work. That we normally, if we write something, we normally have a typo. If we're doing a math test, we normally have a mistake here or there. And we realize it's a mistake, but we have to go back and check it. Just like going back and checking a paper, you spell check. Even though you know how to spell the word, you go back and check it because you might have mistyped it, you might have been in a rush. So going back and checking it always helps. Now back to the beginning, where passing a test really starts is the first day of the unit. You want to make sure you show up for each and every class. Bring the materials you need, such as a calculator, paper, graph paper, pencils, and erasers. Your calculator, you want to get your calculator early so you know how to use it when it comes to test time. Listen carefully to the lecturer regardless of how good the lecturer is. Keep in mind this is the person most likely writing the test, so little things he says here and there will inform you of what is going to be on the test. So you want to make sure you listen carefully. Be careful about when you're taking notes. Be careful about taking such meticulous notes that you don't get a chance to really tune in to what the person is saying, because you're trying to copy down something he said 20 seconds ago. You can't write down everything a person writes on the board. So you're going to have to practice note-taking skills. Practice when given the opportunity. So in class, when there's a problem the teacher gives you to do that problem. Don't stare off into space. Don't wait for the teacher to do the problem because it's too hard. Put the pencil to the paper and attempt to do the problem. Frame math class and math test as a challenge and not a chore. And when I say that, I mean like a challenge for me would be like in high school, working out and trying to max out on a bench press. I would take the time to go into the gym and to work out, to do different things, do bench press, do curls, do other chest exercises, because I wanted to get better. I looked at it as a challenge versus something like going and taking out the trash, which is a chore. You don't want to do it, you know you have to do it, and you loathe doing it all day, and then you finally go and you take it out. If you look at class as a challenge, and I say weightlifting, you could also think of like a word search or a Sudoku. Any type of puzzle that's challenging to you. It's hard, but you enjoy doing it. Look at math class like that. You get a challenging problem, work it. You get frustrated. You look in the book for examples. You go back, you ask questions, and then when you get the answer to something, you're gonna feel like, man, this is great. I finally got that answer. So look at it as a challenge versus looking at it as a chore. Next is to study. Is to do your homework actually. Repetition is the mother of skill. So you need to do all your homework problems. Schedule a small amount of time each day to work on your homework problems. Hopefully you get the homework ahead of time and you can work on a small amount each day. Don't wait till the night before to do it. Spend a little extra time on the harder problems. Sometimes you're going to have to go look at an example, or look at an example, or go back to notes you took in class, or just think about a harder problem for a little bit longer. Now that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the answer to every problem you do in your homework. You won't necessarily get an answer, so at a certain point you want to stop. Maybe you spend 10 minutes on a problem and then you stop and you move on to the next problem. Don't spend hours and hours working on your homework. Come to class the next day with a well-organized list of questions you have, because you want to be able to raise your hand and ask the teacher, I have a problem on number 26B. I didn't understand this, and this. You don't want to be fumbling through looking for the problem that you couldn't do because you don't have it highlighted or have it separated out somehow that you can relate it to the teacher in a quick way. Otherwise the class is just going to be waiting on you, and the teacher, he or she's not likely going to be able to answer your question. Next will be to study for a math test. And you study, the question will be, how do I study for a math test? You study much like a person practices shooting free throws. An expert can tell you how to shoot a free throw. He can go into how you have to keep your elbow in, how you have to follow through and bend your knees. But the bottom line is, you're not going to get any better at shooting free throws unless you practice. And it's the same thing with math. You're going to have to do problems. Some problems you get wrong, you're going to have to do a second time. And even if you know the answer, it helps to do problems you get wrong a second time. Look over the entire unit, especially the night before. You're going to go back and you're going to look at things that you did know how to do, but if it was on the first day of the unit, you want to go back and look at it to make sure there's not some little detail you're forgetting or you might leave out on the test, because you don't want to miss a problem that you say, oh man, I could have got that one, I just forgot this little thing. So go back, look over the entire unit, things you knew how to do, things you didn't know how to do, and as you're doing that, you're practicing problems. You're redoing homework problems. You're looking for any tips, any ways the question might be asked a slightly different way on the test, and how you could answer that. And now I'm back full circle to the day before the test and the day of the test, which I already went into a little bit. The other thing you can do is you can ask for help. You can ask an older brother or sister if they had the class before, or you can go in and ask your teacher. Of course, sometimes your teacher might not be able to help. They might have already explained it and you need a second opinion or a third opinion, in which case you can get a tutor. When you get a tutor, it's a couple of things you want to be able to do. You want to be able to tell the tutor what you're working on, the title of the chapter and the particular section you're on. So you should know if you're working on solving equations or the quadratic formula or completing the square. You should know that vocabulary by looking in the syllabus or looking at the section in the book and looking at that title and remembering words your teacher said. But you should be able to tell the tutor that even if you don't understand the topic. That way they can prepare for exactly what you need help with. When you go to a tutor, you also want to bring organized questions just like you would to a teacher. If you have a whole lot of things to go over, having questions organized will help you bring out the specific thing you want to talk about. Otherwise, you're spending 5-10 minutes looking for something He said, I know I want to ask you this one thing, let me find it, and you're looking for where it is in the book. So it helps to write it out or to make tabs in your book, mark different pages where it's something you know you want to ask. And keep in mind, you're still going to have to study. Without the tutor, you're still going to have to go and do all the things I said before, because likely you're only seeing a tutor once or twice a week for an hour or two. So you have to prepare before you go in a tutor, and then spend time preparing after you go in for a tutor to be ready for that test. You can also search my YouTube videos. Is Upstate Math Tutor, and I'll leave a link below to get you to the right page. If you don't see a video that helps you, feel free to ask me to do another video, and I'll do a video for you. You can also visit my website and book an online tutoring session, and I do that through Skype, and I can show you, much like my videos, I can write in a PowerPoint different problems and explain it to you bit by bit, and it's free of charge, no hassles for the first session. So you sign up, you don't have to put in any credit card information. You just send me an email. We find a time where we're both free, and we do Skype through webcam, and I show you my screen and show you how to do the problems. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, click the like button. If you want to see more, subscribe. Thank you.